Hey guys, it's Jenny Wolek with the Wolek Group, Keller Williams Realty here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I am here with my friend Claire Bohne, who has a new adventure that I wanted to share with her. All of her new exciting coaching opportunities that you offer, and I just want to learn more about this. Claire, how are you today?
I'm good.
I am
So glad
so
we're able to chat.
I know. I'm so excited. We met a little over a year ago at a Keller Williams event.
Mhm.
And I'm just going to say, you were like my little BFF. I really was attracted to you and your personality and your smarts. And you've just become a dear friend to me that I really respect.
Well,
Um,
thank you. It's funny. The day that I met you, I walked into the room and, you have all the tables to choose from. And I look around, I'm like, who do I want to sit next to? And I was like, that lady.
oh,
That's
I
the
think I
one.
did the same for you because I loved it that we're big nerds together. We wanted to sit in the front row and take lots of notes. Well, we learned a lot, and we've learned a lot through Keller Williams Realty. And as you know, I'm a huge fan of coaching. And you mentioned your new gig you got going on. I just wanted to share with everyone because there's so much value. So why don't you just share kind of your background of how you got to where you are today, and then what you have going on now.
Yeah, great. So I started my Keller Williams journey as an agent, and I was an agent for 2.5 years at the Austin Southwest Market Center. And then our leadership in that office came to me and asked if I would be the productivity coach. So I stepped into that role. We transitioned the program from having one coaches to two. So there were two of us leading our group. And when I stepped out of that program, it was the largest in the nation. We had 220 agents in our coaching program alone. And so I got to, help people launch their real estate businesses. And that was really fulfilling in a lot of ways. And yet what I learned is that the piece of my job that I loved the most really was the coaching, and less the tactical part of real estate. This is how you fill out the contract, and this is how you negotiate this situation, and things like that. And so I wanted to start focusing on really the development of people.
Mm.
And that's when my mentor, Wendy Papazian, came to me and asked if I would transition into a role where I was just coaching her team.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
quite a big opportunity.
it was really exciting, and really, it gave me the chance to focus on development instead of just the real estate stuff, and still be in the real estate space, because I love real estate. I'm a real estate investor, and and I didn't want to remove myself from that completely. And then I really, just through all the things that you've talked about, all the growth that I've experienced and the knowledge I've earned from KW and all the classes that I've gotten to go to, I realized that I wanted to just expand the horizon beyond only real estate agents. And so now I'm a coach with MAPS Business Coaching. So we're still part of KW. And it's great because what we're able to do is take all of the tools and systems that have built a $3 billion company, and deliver those to business people, business owners outside of real estate.
You know what's crazy is over the years, in my local market here in Tulsa, friends or colleagues will reach out to me and they will, because obviously I'm not shy and quiet about the value of a coach and accountability and how it's changed my life. And they'll ask me, how can I get into that coaching? And in the past, we didn't really have an option for them. So if you're a real estate agent with Keller Williams watching, or maybe with anyone, this is a great way to add a value to your local market and your contacts and friends. Wouldn't you agree? And how could you see us really using this as a tool for our people?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the benefit is really twofold. The first benefit is what you're talking about, which is that it benefits the person who's in coaching. And a lot of the conversations that we have in KW, that are really, I guess, just typical standard conversations, are conversations that other business owners, nobody's having with them. your economic model. Like, what are your conversion rates, right? People
Yeah.
don't know that in all of their businesses. Where are you actually getting your business from? And is your business predictable? Well, everybody's business is predictable if you look at the numbers, right? But they don't know how to predict it. So there's huge value to them, especially because when you're a business owner or a business person, a lot of the time it feels really lonely. Real estate agents can experience that. But we're lucky enough to be in a community of all these other real estate agents. But when you look at entrepreneurs who are passionate about what they do and they've decided to go and launch a business, usually it's because they are passionate about what they do, not because they are a trained business person.
Yes, there's a book on that.
So
Yeah, the E-Myth Revisited, I remember, totally touches on you may be great at baking cookies. Are you great at being a leader and a business person? And they're very different, aren't they?
right, completely. And sometimes entrepreneurs feel like they don't like the business side, but really it's just because they don't have experience with it. They have nobody helping them. And so that's a big part of what a coach does, is really to, come alongside them and create a partnership so that they aren't experiencing that aloneness. And so that's a huge piece of the value. And then, for agents, the value to them in helping their network connect with a coach is that it can actually help their businesses be more stable. Because how many people have a lender that they discovered who was this great lender, but then the lender started getting more business and they couldn't handle it, and maybe they burned out or their quality of service went down or whatever because they weren't trained in how to hire an assistant. And maybe they hired out of pain, right? And then that ends up affecting your business because you're doing business with them and they aren't a business person. So it's really a win-win across the board.
I didn't even think of that aftermath of somebody's business growing and growing, and they just don't know how to handle it. We see it all the time. We're really blessed because at our company, this is the normal conversation that we have all the time. And we understand that you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. So we hear this a lot with real estate agents who see the expense of a monthly bill coming in to pay for a coach. And we know that really it's an investment in ourselves and in our future and our family. So tell me how you walk through that with business people who don't speak our language and maybe see it as a fear around what it may cost.
Yeah. Well, and that really is the conversation, is looking at the difference between a cost and an investment. And most business people can at least appreciate the difference between those two, right? And when you think about what a coach costs, and I love having this conversation with business owners, I'll ask them, well, who's your lowest paid employee, right? And what does that person do? Okay. And depending on the business, that can look like a $20,000 employee. That could look like a $50,000 employee. I mean, right. There's a big range depending on the business and what that person's function is. But if you look at hiring a coach, which is going to cost you probably less than your lowest paid employee. And yet they're going to help you clarify what it is that's going to move your business forward with the most impact, right? While thinking about your quality of life, and your return on investment there, right, should be way higher than what you're getting with your assistant who's just doing a whole bunch of paperwork for you.
Yeah. Wow. So if somebody had interest in learning more about what you guys offer, is there a first initial phone call, or is there some kind of process that's pretty simple for someone to learn more?
Yeah. So how I get to spend a lot of my time is connecting with people on the phone and just asking questions about their business and where they are. I've gotten to hold you accountable to a couple things.
You have.
I'll never forget at the Quantum Leap Summit, we had like an accountability. Everyone's like, get an accountability partner. And I look up and I see you like beelining straight to me. And I'm like,
because I knew you would do it and you would hold me to it. And it's painful, and it's what is needed if you really care about goals.
Yeah. And then I followed up with you a whole bunch. So, I mean, I just love, I think that, I did a one thing podcast on the 411. And for people that aren't familiar with the
Oh,
411, it's a tool that we use to really help us focus on what's actually going to move our business or our life forward and not just get lost in a really long to-do list. And it's interesting because for the podcast, they always post like a little thing with your headshot, and they pick like a quote from something you said. I'm like, oh gosh, what are you going to quote me saying? And what they wrote down, or what they posted, was that I said that part of the challenge with accountability is reminding the person that you're doing it for them and not for you, right? Because it's exactly what you said. It can be painful.
yeah.
But I didn't choose it for you. You chose it for you. You came to me, and then I held you to it, and then good things came from it, right?
Right. Well, that's the other fear around coaching that I hear a lot of times is people are like, they're going to make me do something I don't want to do.
Yeah.
How would you respond to that?
That if only I were powerful to make people do what I wanted them to do, my life
Right.
would be so much easier. So that, first of all, just can't happen. But second of all, my job isn't to tell anyone what to do, because if I tell you what to do, the likelihood of you doing it like plummets. So my job is to help you discover, because the reality is I'm not smart. Like, you're smarter than I am. Everybody is smarter about their own situation than anybody else can be. And so I'm just there to ask questions to help the client uncover what it is that they really want, or what it is that's actually standing in the way, or what it is that they actually need to do. Because a lot of the time we hide behind the easier thing because it's less uncomfortable. And so I just help, remove some extra stuff so that we can do what's ultimately going to matter.
Okay, well, here's the deal. I'm a small business owner and here in Tulsa, and I'm really smart. I know what I need to do. I just don't ever have the time to do it. So why would I pay you to tell me what I already know I need to do?
Yeah. Well, because if you're acknowledging that you never do it, then it doesn't matter that you know, right? I mean, we all know. And
Right.
so it's helping identify, like, really if that thing matters, because you could keep going another year or decade or whatever not doing it, and fine, who cares? But really what I do, and I was talking to another coach, and he was like, so you don't seem to have any trouble with candor, do you? Like, that's something that coaches can feel really uncomfortable. That's a piece of it that can be challenging. And I have plenty of challenges coaching. That particular thing is just not one of mine. Like, I'll just go for it. And so it's like, okay, well, what's that going to cost you? So if you know but don't do, it's going to cost you something, and you just get to decide if that's really worth it. But most people don't actually look at that. So I help people look at that so that they can make a conscious decision.
So what would you recommend, being a coach and really caring about people and their development? What are some books or tools or podcasts that you would recommend that they just to help get their mindset around opportunity and their
Mhm.
growth?
Well, the first one would be the One Thing podcast and the One Thing book. Um, those are going to be some of the most foundational things that we're using when we're coaching, in the partnerships that I have. And then Set for Life is a book that I tell almost everybody about. So I'm not just a business coach, I'm actually also a wealth coach.
Mhm.
And what I've learned from coaching people over time, right? A lot of the purpose of what they're doing in their business is for freedom. And we can all define freedom different ways. But ultimately, there's a financial component to freedom for most people, right? The ability to have freedom of time requires that you have freedom of money, so that you control your time. And Set for Life is just, I mean, it's possible it's my all-time favorite book, because it's kind of a radical way to look at things, financially. So those are a couple. And then the MREA is a book that, everybody in KW talks about. Sometimes you'll walk into a room and there'll be people in there 5 years in the business that still haven't read it. But what's interesting is we actually really encourage our non-real estate
Mhm.
business people to read MREA,
Yeah.
because it's not a book, it's not a real estate book, it's a business book that
Mhm.
is told through a real estate lens. But that's something that we have folks dig into.
Yeah. Well, who would be your ideal candidates, your ideal clients that you would work with?
Yeah. The ideal candidate or client for me, the person that I get most excited about working with is someone who has a self-awareness already around kind of what you said. It's, I know this is what I need to be doing, but I'm just not doing it. But I'm ready to evaluate what it is that's keeping me from going there. Because, like you said, kind of what's the first step? I do all of these calls with people. And sometimes I'll end the call and I'll just know that this isn't a person that's ready for coaching. They're just not there yet. And they know that they want to get there eventually, but now isn't the time for them. And then I'll end calls with people and I'll say, you are my ideal client. And that's really the reason why. Is it's because somebody that has a level of awareness about where they are and where they want to go, and they know that there's a gap, and they know enough to know that they can control that gap.
I was actually going to ask you, my next question was what makes someone coachable? And you may have just touched on it a bit, but would you say that that's really the most important thing in your relationship?
Yeah, I think what makes someone coachable is having a level of ownership um,
Mhm.
over the fact that exactly where they are is exactly where they've chosen to be, no matter how much you like it or don't. Because, it's cliche and you see it on quotes all the time. You don't control what happens to you, but you control how you respond to it. And people that choose to say, well, this is what happened, and so that's why I'm here. I just can't ever agree with that. Right?
Right.
Like,
Own it.
you're here because of how you chose to respond to whatever happened.
I love that. And what would you say would be those clients that you work with? Of course, that we can't, we don't, would never want to hold you into any specific results. But what are you really seeing with them in their progress from day one of working with you or a MAPS business coach to later on in life?
Yeah. What they see, I think it's interesting because what I think a lot of people worry about when we have conversations about achieving next levels of success is they say, yeah, but like I already don't have enough time. I don't want to lose even more time. Right. And so I think what people are finding, not only a return on their money financially and higher levels of success at work, but really what they're getting is control of their life back and time back for the thing that actually matters, which for most people, right, your purpose isn't your job. Your job should be something that fulfills your purpose, right, and allows you to live your purpose, but we weren't put here to work. And
No.
so I think that's one of the biggest things that you should expect from your coach, is not just to say, good, we've identified how you can make more money, now go work 4 more hours.
Right.
That's not it.
Okay, so I asked this question, I'm going to ask it in a different way this time is, besides who is your perfect client, what kind of industries are these clients going to be in most likely? What are you really seeing with people that are signing up?
Yeah, it's so fascinating because we have folks in all these different industries, and a lot of the times they're industries that people don't think of as being coachable. But the reality is that if you are in business and you're a living, breathing human, you can be coachable, right? So, we work with title and mortgage and home staging and things that are on the periphery of real estate. But then we're also going to have doctors' offices,
Mm,
right? And it's like people in those types of, if you're in a traditional sales industry, you think of yourself as sales. If you're a doctor, you don't think of yourself as sales, right? And the clients that you get are the clients that you get, whoever walks through your door, finds you from word of mouth or whatever. And so we have this really cool opportunity to work with people who are in business and don't really think of themselves as having the ability to control the people that come into their business.
well, you have just made me realize. So I say this all the time. My husband's an attorney and he's a partner in a small firm, and there's, a handful of these partners. And then it's time for them to hire. and they don't have a systematic approach to the hiring process, and they're really great at law. They're not really great at being business owners.
Right.
And so really these even higher level education required, degrees and professions are probably incredible candidates for you. They
Yeah.
saw the investment of going to law school or medical school, and then they stop at that point.
Right. And what, like I mentioned, we're getting to take, I think I said systems and tools, but also classes. So
Yeah.
we're actually getting to teach the classes from KW to these outside of KW business people. So we have one that we're teaching called Leverage Leadership, which we internally know as career visioning,
That's
right? And so all of our clients, all the people who are currently work with me, get to attend that for free, right? And that's just a perk of being a MAPS business client. And then it's also available to anyone else who is interested, and you can get a ticket for that. That's coming up later this month. So I'll send the link, and maybe we can put that in the comments or something, or you all can reach out to me. My email is claire@mymapscoach.com. CLAIRE, and I'll be happy to send you that info. But if you're not KW, you can still access all of these things. So it's really exciting to take what works so well for us and get to share it.
Okay, so you just made me realize something. So say someone's with a different real estate company, they don't qualify for our mastery or MAPS coaching program that exists, but they could hire you as a business coach.
They could, and we can help them see the value in KW and, get them
Okay.
into the MAPS real estate coaching. Because ultimately that's what I'm going to help them do. Because we have such incredible MAPS real estate coaches
Yeah.
that's who I want agents to be with.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, we'll get you paired with the right person.
That is so important to have a partner, and that's really the word. I know that I've had a coach for a long time. You've been a great coach. I'm certain you yourself have coaches.
Oh yeah, 2 at the moment.
Yeah. And so we see the value in making sure that someone is there with us as a partner, that
Yeah.
we really care about each other and the teamwork of
Well, and looking back on the coaches that I've had, they've just all been so perfect for that phase that I was in. And some of them were more instructive, and some of them were more coaching oriented. And some of them, I'll never forget. I had one that on like our second or third call, he was like, I don't know if I'm the coach for you. Like, we may need to switch you. And that was because he really pushed my buttons in ways that made me really uncomfortable.
yeah.
But what I know about me personally, and this may not be true for everyone, is that like when I get off a call and I'm super agitated at my coach, and feel like really pretty frustrated and maybe even slightly unheard, that was actually probably the most productive call.
Yes.
And so I stuck it out with him, and he ended up being just exactly who I needed for that phase. So
Yeah, I love that. And it is okay to change your coach. We want to make
yeah,
sure that message gets shared, is because
totally.
you do need
Well,
to.
and that's how I got to him, is I had another coach and I knew that that phase was done. And so I got a new one.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. I love it. Any final parting words that we want to share about MAPS business coaching and how you could help others exceed all of their dreams and goals?
Well, I love that. Let's go with that. But yeah, I would love to connect with anyone. Abe Shreve is our CEO, and he has been really thoughtful and purposeful in how he's designed our company. And so he's created a lot of passive income opportunities within MAPS business coaching, for really folks who are in the Keller Williams world. And so I'd love to, share more about how that works. But if you are able to, connect me with anyone who is a business person, I'd love the chance to get to talk to them and see if we can create a win-win for everyone.
I love it. Thank you for sharing and always adding so much value. I so appreciate you, Claire.
Appreciate you back. Thanks for your time, Jenny.
You bet. If you guys need anything from me, my number's 918-706-9845. Have a great day. Bye.